there was good experience in the work with clients and with companies, and at the same time there was a good effect on teaching at the university. When I started teaching at the university, me and most colleagues, we were convinced that the only style to teach people is to tell them how it works and to present them theories, concepts, cases, and so on leadership, on how to motivate people, and so on, and to teach them by telling them, and sometimes we had the idea that we, the teachers, we have the truth about all that things.
Yeah.
And I always I had a bad feeling when I did that, and I always tried out different formats of learnings, and I preferred something. I think I always had an attitude that I really was sure that every student or every client in a company has the capacity to solve the problems themselves, or to find out what works. That it's not necessary to tell them how it works. It's better when they find out by experience what works. And so I changed my teaching style at the university from teaching the people by coaching the students in the classes to find out what works. For example, when the topic was motivation and performance management, or things like this, not to offer the theory, but to start with concrete examples of their own experience, of every student, and to work out what is the difference when motivation or performance, for example, is better for them. And after working that out at the end of the semester, then we offer them concepts and theories, and then we talked, for example, about Maslow or about whoever, and that was much more fruitful and much more effective for teaching. And the students liked that. And that was the same in companies. When we worked with the people and helped them to, in a coaching style, to find out for themselves what they would like to change, what would be the little steps, the next steps, what makes sense for them, what is a preferred future, perfect future. We didn't call that perfect future, but it was a question for the perfect future, of course, and so on. That was much more effective. And then when I read the work of Steve DeShays and Inzo Kimberg, I got in contact with the idea of the client is the expert. And I'm really sure that only every person can be the only expert of what is good, and especially everybody is his own or her own expert on what makes a positive difference in my life or at my workplace. You cannot find out that for other people, as a manager, for example, but you can ask them questions, you can offer them formats of working where they find out themselves what makes the positive difference for me, and then you still have all these struggles and the challenging task to integrate all that different positive differences within a team, for example, or within a company, or within a bigger company, of course. But that's much more easier to do that when you focus on the positive differences and when you do not focus on the deficits. And that was another thing that was very irritating and confusing for me. Overall, when I started at the university, when I started to work at the university, I always had to work with concepts and literatures and approaches who focus on the deficit in organization, in companies. And when you, for example, when you read a classical management textbook, it's full of models, how to analyze and how to identify what does not work and what is the gap. And there is, till 10 years ago, I think there was no approach to focus on the positive differences, to focus on what works, to offer methods for analysis in sales, for example, to find out, to have brief and effective ways to find out what works. That doesn't mean that a lot of people and of managers in companies do that. Of course, they do that because they have the practice every day, and they know that the positive difference is more important. But in management science, there is still something like a trance. Do you understand trance? That means a collective way of thinking, that focusing on deficit is more important than focusing on what works. And when I read the books of Stephen Ince, and especially the textbook of Ince and Peter de Young, Interviewing for Solutions, that was a support for me, and very, very, very helpful for me. And of course, it was a backing for my experience I made at the university and also in projects in companies.